this week's Facebook Live. Getting closer to Christmas if you celebrate the holidays, taking some time off. I hope everybody's safe and well and looking forward to some time off this year. So, some tips in this week's blog about self care so that you are more relaxed, less stressed in the run up, to Christmas, as I said, if you're celebrating, or up to the holidays, in whatever way, shape, or form you're celebrating this time of year. So let's get down to it because there's a lot. There's actually 12 tips, so I'm going to be going through them very quickly. But there is a lot more detail, as always, in the blog, so go check it out at www.DBpsychologyservice.com. But as always, I will leave a link to it in the description below, and that usually links out to other blogs, other videos, other podcasts, which you might also find helpful. So do go and check those out if you wish. As always, as I say, I constantly bang on about it, but basic self-care, and if you haven't checked out my video on that, is vital all year round. It's your foundation stone in your life, but it's more important now. Anytime that's of high stress, having that good solid foundation is going to really stand to you when that comes around. So, many factors can contribute to stress, additional stress at this time of year, both externally and internally. And if you've seen my recent series on stress, I do talk about those in more detail. So do go and check them out. Be aware of your triggers. What is going to be your triggers this time of the year? That's very important. Sorry. But as I said, your basic self-care routine is going to be essential. This is you setting a boundary with yourself and with others. So having that is going to lay the foundation for everything else. Letting go of your self-care, which we tend to do. We let go of little parts of our routine, our normal routine. And that's not going to do you any favors, particularly if you're already stressed and now you got the added pressure of the holiday stress coming up. So between now and the 24th of December, take some time for yourself. I know sometimes we can say, oh, that's easier said than done, but you really need to reduce your stress and the feelings of being overwhelmed. So let's get into the tips to try and help you do that. The first one is to stop saying yes to everything and everyone. That saying, if you want something, don't ask a busy person. Well, your number one rule for the next few weeks is actually to say no. To start, being more discerning about where do you spend your time. It's a precious commodity. This time should be spent on you and those closest to you, and things that are very important to you. And this is part of setting healthy boundaries. We have to remember that. So schedule in only what you want to schedule in, what you want to attend. And yes, that means we need to work on letting go of the guilt. But if we can do it, say no to little tiny extra bits, that helps us learn to say no, and it also helps us let go of that guilt. It really has to be done if you want to reduce your stress levels. We really do have to learn to say no. And it is okay to say no at any time. And even though we have COVID and the numbers are high, people will push us to attend things or do extra things that we feel really uncomfortable about. So plan ahead. Plan ahead you'll know who the pushy people are in your life, the negative people who are in your life. Plan ahead and have the excuse ready. Have it already worked out and learn to say no to them. Just say, no, sorry, we're not available. So have a think about that one. So that's the number one. If you can try that one, that's going to, really reduce down an awful lot of what you're saying yes to. And your stress levels will reduce as a result. 2, take all your breaks. And that means all of them. Even if you work at home, or you're a stay-at-home parent, make sure you're taking all your breaks. So, your lunchtime, your 11Cs, at 3 o'clock, you've got to pace yourself out to reduce your stress. Try and get outside for at least 15 minutes at lunchtime, because that's going to lift your mood. If you get out for a walk, it's going to increase the serotonin, and then the vitamin D is also going to help lift the mood as well. Number three is to protect your sleep routine. Now, even if you don't do anything else, please try and do this one, because this one has such a knock-on effect, and I've talked about this in a video on 11 tips to improve your sleep. I do have an entire training on this. It's a week-long training, but you can take as long as you want over in my group. So if you want that, you can go do it, and I explain in a lot more detail about sleep and how it impacts your life. But you can set yourself up for a negative cycle if you're not getting enough sleep. And it increases our stress, it increases our anxiety, increases our overwhelm. We're just not able to cope, and we won't realize we're not coping. We won't realize that we have that brain fog there. So, make sure to try and get to bed on time at least. Stick to that normal routine, even on the weekends. It's very important. Simple things like stopping the notifications on your phone an hour before you go to bed, leaving the phone out of the bedroom, removing any other devices from the bedroom so that there won't be a distraction, or there won't be dinging going on, notifications, or there won't be flashing lights going on during the night. Try and cut the caffeine down in all its forms in the afternoons. Any of those are going to help. They're simple, small steps to take. But any of those will help improve your sleep, and then reduce your stress and anxiety symptoms. Because caffeine and sugar will definitely increase, we know that from research, increase your stress and anxiety symptoms. They make it actually worse. And it is the one thing we'll do. We will go and reach for the coffee to keep us going, or a bar of chocolate or something to keep us going. And you're actually then making the cycle worse. You're getting yourself into that negative cycle. So try and watch that one in particular at this time of the year. Number 4 is not to let go of any normal, regular exercise or healthy eating patterns that you might have. It is, a busy time of year, end of year for an awful lot of businesses. Businesses get a lot busier at this time. So try and make sure, though, to stick to your regular routines, not just your sleep, but also exercise and healthy eating. Because you want to maintain your stress reduction and your anxiety reduction, and the exercise is really good at helping to improve your mood. As I said, take that break at lunchtime, get out, go for a walk. Don't let go, if you can, of, if you do some sort of exercise class regularly, or you go to the gym if you're able to where you live. But even if you're pushed on that day, you're pushed, and there's no way I'm going to get to the class, there's no way I'm going to be able to do my regular routine around exercise, just go for that 10-minute walk. Don't let it go altogether, just head out for 10 or 15 minutes, because that will bring down those stress levels. It'll bring down those anxiety levels, because you'll be using up the excess hormones that are flying through your body. Again, I talk about cutting down the caffeine and the sugar to help your sleep and your stress, but you really need to watch that. But you also need to be eating regularly throughout the day, for the simple reason, regular meals throughout the day. We've a tendency to skip lunch in particular, but that just means our sugar levels are going to be off. And if we're doing that, then we're more inclined to indulge in excess alcohol, excess sugar, excess caffeine, and again, then you're setting yourself up for a worse negative cycle. So try not to. Make sure you're eating those regular meals, and watch your sugar levels. Of course, if you feel things have gone too far for you, please seek medical advice. Speak to a dietitian, a nutritionist. You can ask to be referred to a community. In Ireland, you can do that. You can community dietitian. You can speak to your GP. You can speak to, people that are trained, the trainer in the gym, people that are trained. Get the professional advice, get the medical advice before embarking on anything mad come January in particular. So, if this has become an issue for you, then have a think about that. Number 5, use one form of meditation to relax. Any form will do. It doesn't matter what you do. Mindfulness, progressive muscle relaxation, yoga, tai chi, a 3-minute breather, 7-Eleven technique. I've talked about these all before in more detail. All of them will help you relax and reduce your stress. 10 minutes a day. You don't need to sit and do formal practices for lengthy periods of time. 10 minutes a day will really, really help. If you're feeling pressurized throughout the day, the 3-minute breather is a brilliant one. You can do it anywhere on the go. You can even be standing in the shop, in the line for, do your groceries, pay for your shopping. You can do it. I have a ton of free podcasts on all of those types of meditations. The link to them is in the blog, which I'm going to leave that in the description, as I said. So do check them out. If one doesn't suit you, one of the other ones might. Progressive muscle relaxation is a really good one to do before bed. And as I said, the 3-minute breather is a great one to do on the go. So do check them out. 6, catch up with your support system, your positive support system. Positive supporters are vital for every single person in life. I don't care who you are. You need to be surrounded by people who support you. And that support includes emotional, financial. So that could be an employer, it could be you working in your business. It could be, information around money, informational supports and tangible support. We need all those kind of supports in our lives to surround us. And that has to come from positive people. Some people provide us with more than one kind. So a therapist, for instance, will be providing you with informational and emotional, but also tangible support in some cases. Think about what role that person plays in your life. Your employer maybe, and how they support you. If you're your own business owner, how do you support yourself? Remember, we have got a relationship with ourselves. How are we supporting ourselves? Our family, our friends. Sometimes we just think of support as coming from family and friends. But we forget there are other people in the community that can support us and are there for us. Maybe it's the likes of MABS, Money Advisory Bureau Service, that can provide us information in Ireland on financial difficulties if we are in financial difficulties. So these people are there. They can take an awful lot of your stress off your back that you feel. And as the holidays is so stressful, and it can be, as I said before, it can be so stressful for so many reasons. It's more important now to actually catch up with those positive supports. So, making time for family and friends. And it doesn't matter how they support you, as long as they are supporting you and it's positive support for you right now. So making time to catch up with people in your life is really important. And that brings me to number 7, which is date nights. Date night shouldn't be off the cards because, just because we're in the run up to the holidays. Try and in the next 2 weeks, try and have at least one date night. It doesn't mean that you have to go out. If you are able to and it's safe to do so, by all means, go. But, you could easily cook a meal together and have it ready for when the kids are gone to bed. Set the table, light some candles, or just relax, watch the TV together, or turn off the television. Put on some nice music and, a silly board game or a set of cards. Things that you can do just that'll get the communication going and get the connection going between the two of you. Working on your relationship is vital, and it's part of basic self-care. It's part of your care to work on your relationship, an intimate relationship. Number 8 is also don't let go of the hobbies and interests. Again, as I said, we're very busy. It's so tempting to let our hobbies and our interests go, but please don't. They do provide huge benefits towards our mental and physical health. They're also a means of social interaction for us. And, many of those people that we interact with through our hobbies and interests are included in our positive support system. So, you don't want to drop those at times of high stress. Number 9, we're up to. This brings me around to other groups that you might be a member of. So these would be support groups. So I'm thinking of the likes of Al-Anon or AA or any other support the Grow group, anything like that you're a member of that you would normally attend, a mother, baby, toddler group, anything like that, there is a dad's group, dad's groups as well. Please try and attend those as normal. If you go to therapy, don't drop off the therapy either. It's very tempting to do so, as I said, because we're busier, but they really provide important and vital support, particularly at this time of the year. And it's probably more vital than any other time of the year. That will depend on your circumstances. So please don't drop attendance off from that. Number 10 would be to use some grounding techniques. I give you 2 in the blog. I've talked about these a lot. There's a huge amount of grounding techniques we can use where we stimulate our senses, and I've given lots of those as stress reduction techniques over in my free group. If you can, and I know it can be very difficult for a parent to do, but having a relaxing bath, light the candles, scented candles if you can, a nice product in the bath, and just relax. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, just go for it. If you happen to work from home or a stay-at-home parent at this time, kids are still at school for I think another week or so. So drop the kids to school, come home, and have that bath then, and have a relax, just even once in the next couple of weeks. But one method that I give in the blog is the 5-4-3-2-1 exercise. It's a method that you can use on the go, again, anywhere, standing in a queue, sitting in the car, waiting for the light to change. Basically, what you're trying to do with these grounding techniques is bring yourself back into the present moment to cut off the negative thinking. So when you realize that, I'm negative, I'm going off on the washing machine tangent, things are going spiraling out, I'm feeling very uptight and very stressed, to kind of bring it back and get yourself back to the present moment. Then an exercise like this is good for doing that. It grounds us back into the moment. So it's a very simple exercise. Name 5 things you can see right now, 4 things you can feel right now, 3 things you can hear right now, 2 things you can smell right now, and then the last one, which is a lot of people find difficult, is to name 1 good thing about yourself. And I know that's a difficult one for people, but try. I've got nice eyes, my hair looks good today, my car looks good today, whatever it is, just something. There are, as I said, a lot of other grounding techniques, and they are available over in my group. Number 11, get out the journal. And I always say write it down rather than just type it, but I know people sometimes prefer to type it. Some people record it. They have apps, journaling apps, where they record it, and that's fine. As long as you're getting out the emotions and the thoughts out of your head. You can start by doing a simple brain dump. I've talked about those before, but the whole idea is to help you relax, help you switch off, particularly at night. So it's something I would recommend. A brain dump is something I would particularly recommend at night. But you can, do it at any time during the day. You're feeling overwhelmed, you don't know what the next step to do is. Don't just jot down your to-do list. Don't just jot down the appointments. Jot down the emotions, the thoughts that are coming up. It's private. Nobody else is going to see it. Allow those thoughts and emotions and feelings to come up. It is a very emotional time of year for everybody. And if you get angry, and as I said that last week, if you get angry, if you can, head to the gym, or if you have a punch bag at home, use it. But if you don't, Pillows are great, cushions are great. Line them up, and you know, give them a few whacks. Wall pushing is also good. That's where you would put your hands on the wall. You would visualize whoever it is you're angry with, and then you push away, and you know, you yell out at them. Don't do that in front of children. You know, even the punching pillows or things like that. Don't, make sure a child isn't in the room. If they happen to walk in on you, please explain to them why you're doing it, and that, you know, you're using a healthy method to allow out your anger. It is better to write down the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts. Get them out. Get them down on paper. Get them onto your computer, wherever it is you're holding it, onto the app. Because if you don't, you're going to be shoving them down. And then you're going to reach for the extra glass of wine. You're going to reach for the extra food. And that's, you're just shoving it down and shoving it down and shoving it down. And at some point, it's going to come out and it's going to be like an explosion. And that's not good. That's never healthy. And it's usually at the wrong person. So we're better off getting it out, which is much healthier, and then going and reaching out to your positive supporters and talk it through. Talk it through to whoever is supporting you with this. And if you feel, no, this has gone on for long enough, I really need help, then please, please, please reach out for help. There is lots of organisations out there. The Samaritans, you don't have to go to therapy. Please try and go to therapy if it's that bad. But the Samaritans are there all throughout the holidays, 24/7. Please reach out to them if you need to. And there are lots of other support groups around the country. Number 12, and the last one, just to finish up on the going back to the journal, would be to show some gratitude. You know, don't forget to finish up the journal with 3 things you're grateful for. And there's a reason for that. Lots of reasons for that, actually. You know, it does boost our mental and physical health when we write things down that we're grateful for. And the reason it does that is because when we record things we're grateful for, it helps to rewire the brain. We've plenty of negative stuff going on up here, and that's wired in there, and we're trying to rewire the brain as best we can. And one way we do that is, and it's one of the fastest ways to do it, in fact, is to start writing things down we're grateful, because it tells the brain to start noticing more positive stuff than negative, and to start noticing it. We then use that to challenge the negative thinking. And that, as I said, can come up a lot during the year. The second thing you can do with this is, if you've been recording it for even a few days and you're feeling down, sit down and have a reread over what you're grateful for. Have a reread over it. And use that then to challenge the negative thinking. Rereading the gratitude list can boost our mood. It can help our mental health. So have a think about doing that exercise, even if you aren't going to do the brain dump in the journal. But the brain dump is really good for helping you at night. So I leave it there. As always, I'm happy to answer questions. You know, if it's related to a particular video, pop it under the video and tag me, so I actually get to see it. And be safe. Have a good weekend. There is one more blog and video before Christmas, and I will see you then. And if you need help, please reach out. You know, a lot of the mums in my group have an option to private message me, but please, there's lots of organisations. You can, of course, reach out to me. I'll come back to you, but please reach out if you need support. This is a very emotional time for everyone. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for listening as always, and I will talk to you next week.